Now let's take a moment to reminisce on one heck of an NFL season. I feel like, yeah, I mean, just wow, like it's actually it's crazy that it's actually over. Um, and just knowing how the season played out. Just want to make sure the mic is right here. I feel like the what's it called might be slipping a little bit. We look good. Yeah, we're good. I think I'm just OCD per usual. But again, 2022 NFL season, we had again. I mean, the NFL is always great. We had some of the best moments that we've seen in an NFL season this year. We saw that the worst defense in the league only gave up 26 points per game, which is crazy because we usually see NFL teams give up about, I don't know. What are you doing, Inca? Sorry, y'all, talking to my dog. She looks like she's kind of freaking out over there. Um, but, you know, just so many moments happened in this NFL season. We had the Christian McCaffrey trade, which blew everyone's mind. We had the Damar Hamlin incident, which we really didn't know if the NFL was going to step up and do the right thing, and thankfully they did. We had Tom Brady finally retire. We had the very last pick in the NFL draft take the San Francisco 49ers, who emerged late in the season, to the NFC title game. We just saw so many moments, and I have, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, I'm going to be quick with them. I got 15 moments here that happened in the NFL season that were personally my favorite, and I just want to run back through them, but I want to get to the chat first. Oh boy, Ken, or not Ken, LL Kevin. Pimp Juice? You talk about me, bro? Because if so, I appreciate that. I know you got Pimp Juice, DJ Kev. Perfect fit for the 49ers, McCaffrey. Absolutely. We're about to get into that. 2023, the Cowboys will rise. All right, man. Do your fingers ever get tired of typing that? Like, do you ever just get tired of saying that? Because I know, at some point when the Saints were making the runs, like, man, I got to get off of it. Before Breeze left, we had that 4-year run. But Pimp Juice. Nah, bro, this is water. I thought about having some Pimp Juice. I had a little glass of wine before, I think, last Tuesday's show. Got some Shock Top in the fridge downstairs, but no Pimp Juice. We keep it clean on here, man. I even got my vapes on me, so you keeping me honest. Thank the Cowboys for ending TB12. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna make sure that I can filter your filter your comments from now on. But let's get into it. The best moments / surprises / oh wow, that really happened. Whatever you want to call it for the 2022 NFL season. Number one, of course, and in no specific order, I've got the Christian McCaffrey trade. To know that he accounted for over 1,800 total yards after he got traded to the 49ers early in the year. Clearly, he was a weapon for them. He did so much. I think he had one game with a passing, receiving, and rushing touchdown, so go figure with him. Really reignited his career, put him back in that comeback player of the year situation. And we see the way that the Panthers are turning around now. I'm glad that his career didn't get completely spoiled being there. And I could really see him potentially being a Niner for life, but not going to too much get into that. Let's also talk about Geno Smith beating Russell Wilson in the season opener because the NFL script writers that we think that they have, which of course they do to an extent, they're in the business, right? Geno Smith beat Russell Wilson in the season opener after Russell Wilson gets traded from the Seahawks, where Geno Smith quarterbacks for, to the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson's new home. And Geno drops a line at the end of the game. They wrote me off and I didn't write back. That is a line that went through the entire NFL season. One of the best just lines I've heard in general. And Geno Smith goes on to win comeback player of the year. So he started and essentially ended his season with some great lines. Super proud of him. And I don't see why the Seahawks wouldn't run it back with him. Burrow saying the window is his whole career. Absolutely legendary. We have seen the way he's acted after big games, smoking a cigar after the national championship, just living it up, going to the Super Bowl in his first full healthy year as a starter, 2 AFC title games and 2 full healthy years as a starter. So maybe the window is his whole career. Who knows? But I loved that line from the NFL season. We just recently had Tom Brady retire for good as well, which I'm not going to say this was a best moment, but definitely a surprise for me. And now there's reports that he could possibly be going out looking to win over Giselle again. Trying to prove it to him that, yes, I shouldn't have went back to the league. I care for our family. I want things to happen. And I'm not here to speculate on that. I will never question a grown man's life decisions, or what he's trying to do. I'll just talk about their NFL career in a very positive and uplifting way because I don't want to tear people down. But it was a surprising thing for me to see Tom Brady retire, knowing that he essentially gave up his family and, just didn't play too well down the stretch. And clearly he was going through a lot. But I really thought that he was going to come back. And, the way he was eliminated, like he's going to come back because he essentially just gave it all up for the NFL, right? He retired and then unretired, came back, played horribly. So that was a shocker for me to see Tom Brady retire. I was also shocked at how bad the Colts actually were this year. When they traded for Matt Ryan, I was very hype about that. I've been saying for years that Matt Ryan should have either went to the Colts or the Vikings, a couple teams that I felt like were just a quarterback away from making it to not the Super Bowl, but they could have kind of had Super Bowl run vibes potentially with the rosters, the defense. Maybe the coaching could have been better, but obviously a great quarterback, or not a great quarterback, a better quarterback situation will help everything. I was just so shocked by how bad the Colts were. Matt Ryan did not deserve that the way that he went out in this NFL season. They switched to Sam Ehlinger. They fire Frank Reich in the middle of the year. They bring on Jeff Saturday, and everyone gets happy for about 25 seconds, and then they realize that, hey, he can't win us any NFL games either. Love you, Jeff Saturday. You are a great player. I'm not taking anything away from you. I know it's hard to coach in the league. That's why I'm sitting here on a talk show talking about the league, why you had the chance to coach in the league. Don't let me get it twisted there. But I was very shocked about how bad the Colts were. I was also shocked at how good the Vikings were at winning one-score games this year. I think they won 13 one-score games. I never thought they were a threat. The year before, they had lost all of, or I think half of, maybe two-thirds of those games. So that was interesting to see, knowing that they were able to clean it up with a newer head coach, really with just about the same roster. They ran it back with from the Mike Zimmer to the Kevin O'Connell, era when they transferred when they got a new head coach in. I think at the very, very beginning of the NFL season, if I'm not mistaken. I felt like that was kind of a quiet hire. That one at least, flew under my radar. But I was shocked at how good the Vikings actually were. They obviously had the record. They had the potential to go deep in the playoffs, but not with Kirk Cousins. And just not with the way that, the one-score games. Again, we had said it. One-score games, you can win those. That's great. But eventually you're going to have to be able to pull away, because those one-score games will catch up to you. I was also shocked at how Daniel Jones grew a lot under Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll clearly wins Coach of the Year. No question about that. He deserved it. I'm not going to say there wasn't a close second, because there were a lot of good coaches this year. I think there were, 5 or 6 coaches on the panel, actually as a finalist for that award. But yeah, to see Daniel Jones grow that way, and that was a big reason why I thought Brian Daboll deserved Coach of the Year, because we didn't think this was possible out of Daniel Jones. We didn't think that Daniel Jones could actually be this athletic and use his legs to win in certain situations in the NFL. And Brian Daboll brought that out of him. Coming from working with Josh Allen, being under Sean McDermott, did very well as a rookie head coach and took home Coach of the Year. So that was a big shocker to me. One of the best moments, probably the best moment of the NFL season, was the world coming together. Oh, that's Inca scratching, my dog. One of the best moments the best moment of the NFL season, in my opinion, was the world coming together for the Damar Hamlin incident. I wasn't podcasting at the time. I was still just on the sidelines, kind of soaking up the season, planning my moves to get back into the game. And I remember turning that off one night to Taylor and I I don't remember what we were watching, but I remember turning the game back on because I was curious and just seeing what had happened with Damar Hamlin. And I hate to say it, but I said, I'll be shocked if the NFL stops this game. And they did the right thing, because we had a player that had to get resuscitated twice on the field, or I think once on the field, once in the hospital, knowing that they were, just the timing of everything. He got hit on such a crazy play to where, his heart just had a malfunction. The fact that they were as close to the University of Ohio and Cincinnati as they were, the fact that they had those people on the actual field to get to him as fast as they could. We had I don't know if y'all knew this. We actually had a health assistant for the Bills or for the Bengals get an MVP vote this year. Dead serious. I think it was this specific gentleman that might have got to Damar first or whatever. I'm not sure. I believe the entire crew should have got an MVP vote. I know they couldn't do that. But then at the NFL Awards, another great move by the NFL. They bring Damar onto the stage. Damar speaks. They honor the team that saved Damar's life and cared for him as Damar won the game of life, of course, as the doctors notably said. And, just the whole world stopped. People that didn't watch sports, people that didn't watch football, just everyday average guys and gals that were just going about life and didn't watch sports, knew about the Damar Hamlin incident. For the whole world just to forget for just that short amount of time, and it truly showed everybody, and especially me, that you can bring everybody together at one point for a really awesome topic, for a really awesome subject. And that was a moment right there. It was bigger than football. It was bigger than the players. It was bigger than the money. It was bigger than anything. And the fact that they were able to come in and do that and put on that show for Damar Hamlin, and Damar Hamlin's able to make that recovery, it just, Absolutely amazing. I have no further words for how the NFL was really, really able to handle that correctly, honor him at the awards, and then knowing that he's also cleared to play football again. Now, Russell Wilson looking horrible and Nathaniel Hackett being fired in midseason was a major shock for me. I think that shocked everybody. We had talks of the Broncos going to the Super Bowl. We had talks of Russell Wilson being in the MVP conversation. We had talks of the Chiefs missing the playoffs because there was no Tyreek Hill and that the Broncos were going to run away with it. Clearly, none of that happened. I think Russell Wilson threw 15 passing touchdowns this year. They won a total of 5 games. Now he has Sean Payton. I really think they had no choice but to go on to Sean Payton. So it is what it is. But Russell Wilson looking absolutely horrible. And unfortunately, when you go back and look at the tape, Nathaniel Hackett did draw up a good bit of offensive play calls. Shout out to Theo Ash NFL on TikTok and the Stay Hot podcast. They do some great film analysis over there. He was showing that Russell Wilson would pass up easy looks 2 and 3 times a game, 4 and 5 and 6 times a game on the same play, on the same look. So it was on Russ a lot. It was on Hackett as well. He's going to get the blame. Clearly, he got fired. But that was a big shocker for me to see Russell Wilson, play as bad as he did that year. Chiefs caught zero off-season DAP after losing all they did. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill, it was just so much, I mean, not even so much. Losing Tyreek Hill, trading for Kadarius Toney, getting Marquez Valdez-Scantling, getting Juju Smith-Schuster, drafting Sky Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, just wow, dudes were just absolutely balling. So you can't say anything great about it. What moves should the Dolphins make to take the division from the Bills and progress in the playoffs? Get a replacement for Tua. As much as I hate to agree with the last part of that statement, yeah, man, definitely, Kevin, get a replacement for Tua. I think Tua has a big decision to make about his career. We don't know what, we really don't know what Tua is going to do. A lot of concussions, clearly some scary, scary times in his career this year. And I like Tua a lot in college, but I just don't think he's cut for the NFL. He's small. The arm isn't great. I get it. He's got Hill and Waddle and Gesicki out there, but I don't know. I can't really say that. I just think overall they look a lot better than he does, even on the big plays where Tua throws in the ball. It's just Tua just doesn't look like he can truly read defenses, like he could really get around in the league, like he could really survive behind an offensive line, like he could really take over a game. I've said Aaron Rodgers, bro. I've said Aaron Rodgers all day. I know you might get commitment issues with him, but Aaron Rodgers in Miami, 2 of the fastest receivers in the league. You got a defense that's kind of coming around. You got a culture that's changing around. I also said A-Rod to San Fran, but he kind of ruled that out. But I do think getting a replacement for Tua, considering how that roster is, Tua's going to hold them back. Unfortunately, Tua will hold that offense back. Tua will hold that team back. Outside of that, man, I mean, y'all look good. I know there's other places, of course, that you could use work, I'm sure, on the offense, on the defense, but of course, for time's sake, yeah, helping out with Tua would be major for sure. Lamar Jackson in that offense would be the move. I can't say you wouldn't be wrong, bro. Lamar throwing to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and having Mike Gesicki and having Breida in the back and having a very offensive coach like Mike McDaniel. Damn, I can't say that they couldn't do that, dude. I'm not even going to push back on that because it's not even that it doesn't make sense. Miami is a very sexy place for a job right now, whether you're a quarterback. Obviously, they have the coach in Mike McDaniel, which shout out to Mike McDaniel, man. He did a hell of a job in his first year. Very, very surprised by that. But yes, Lamar Jackson in that offense would be crazy. Shout out to the 9 folks we got watching tonight, all 7 of you on YouTube, and the 2 folks right here that we got on my personal Facebook page. But again, we are on the best 2022 moments from the NFL season. After Russell Wilson looking horrible and Nathaniel Hackett being fired midseason, the next one I'm going to say here is the growth of Trevor Lawrence under Doug Peterson. Absolutely love the way this played out. Trevor Lawrence clearly took a leap this year. I want to say he threw for over 4,000 yards. I know he had about 25 touchdowns. I think about 10 interceptions or maybe 7 or so. I need to get, of course, I need to get solid of those numbers, no doubt. But the growth of Trevor Lawrence under Doug Peterson was absolutely major. Doug Peterson coming in, being able to work with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had a bad rookie year, but he was also under a really, really, really bad head coach in Urban Meyer, which I hated to see. But I put Urban Meyer on the hot seat before that entire season started. So it wasn't a shocker when he got fired. But Trevor Lawrence, I think, can definitely be a top 10 quarterback coming into this season. If not, he's going to be top 12 at worst. And people are going to really start to respect him. And I think people now, there was the question last year of, did Trevor Lawrence arrive? This is the season that Trevor Lawrence will arrive, and I'm very confident in saying that. Of course, the Niners making it to the NFC title game with Brock Purdy was major. Brock Purdy being the very last pick in the NFL draft, fitting into that Niners team, playing well for the most part. Now, clearly he had times where he looked like the last pick in the draft, where the scouting report reflected the truth of him being the last pick in the NFL draft. But working with Kyle Shanahan, having a C-Mac, having a Deebo Samuel, having that defense, being in that position, and playing well up until the conference championship was absolutely remarkable. I don't know if too many other coaches in the NFL could have really done that. So shout out to Kyle Shanahan. Patrick Mahomes' scramble in the Super Bowl, knowing how the ankle was, and even just the performance in the AFC title game as well. But I think it's explicitly the scramble in the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to get really high on saying that, oh, God, he was so hurt. This adds to the GOAT legacy. He's great, this, that, and the third, right? Well, of course he's great. Excuse me. Let me not get too far there. Sometimes the words and the takes just start rolling. I got to be careful, especially respecting Patrick Mahomes here. But, yeah, I mean, just that scramble in the Super Bowl was crazy. The AFC title game performance by Patrick Mahomes was crazy. He had a scramble in that game. He had a scramble in the Super Bowl, like I said. So just the season from Patrick Mahomes, him becoming the 6th best quarterback of all time, we'll just say that's the moment there. One of those best moments of the 2022 NFL season. 11 folks, thank y'all. Really appreciate the love. Yeah, Spigoli took a huge lead for Jags. I don't know. Is that what you call him? I don't know. I don't know what you mean there, man. All right, let's get back to this, though. Jalen Hurts balling out in the Super Bowl, another great moment. Y'all clearly know how I feel about Jalen Hurts, so I'm not going to go too much into that. He silenced the doubters. He silenced the haters. He's going to get paid. He's a franchise guy. I think his offensive coordinator that's coming over that was his quarterback's coach is fine. Obviously, losing Shane Steichen isn't great. They lost to DC, so they're going to have to supplement that defense to show that they weren't frauds. But speaking of Jalen Hurts, y'all already know how I feel about him. The Colts blowing a 33-point lead against the Minnesota Vikings for the largest comeback in NFL history. Unfortunately, Matt Ryan was behind quarterback again. That was a crazy moment to me. Didn't see that coming. I remember turning that game off when it was literally like the Vikings were scoring to make 30-0. And then I was on FaceTime with my cousin later that day, and she said that a guy that she was hanging with was watching the guy she was hanging with was watching the game, and he told me that the Colts were about to tie it up. Or excuse me, that the Vikings were about to tie it up. So the Colts were going up 30-0, and the Vikings were obviously coming back to win. So just seeing that moment in general in the season, unfortunately, Matt Ryan being behind center again, one of the craziest moments. And then the last moment here, I told y'all I had 15. We had to get creative with the lineup, man. We got a scarcity of NFL news, but don't you guys worry. I've been planning like crazy this week. Got some awesome draft content coming up. Got some awesome off-season content coming up. So much, preseason predictions, all that stuff. You're going to be locked and loaded here on the NFL with AJL. And just for a little homer moment here, it's not great, though. Michael Darby, if you're watching, plug your ears. When Andy Dalton threw back-to-back pick sixes against the Cardinals, because the Saints came out in that game, they looked solid over the first couple of drives. Andy Dalton throws a pick six. Wow. And the bad part was it was back-to-back pick sixes at the end of the first half to just make the Cardinals run away from the Saints. I think they were up by 17 or 21 points at that point. So again, that was nuts. Hated to see it. Shot to the heart. Didn't want to watch the game anymore. But there are 15 of, I wouldn't even say, like of course, there's some of the best, not the best, for all you hecklers out there. But yeah, those were the 15 moments that off the top of my head were just some of the best moments of the NFL season for me.